Uh, Hope everyone is staying safe and healthy during this pandemic and staying safe and doing all the right things so that we can get through this as quickly as possible. Today's April 9th, 2020, and this is the Options Alert Service Update video. I wanted to welcome everyone to our video today. And before we get started, I wanted to point out that SMB Training is not a broker-dealer. We're doing these webinars for educational purposes only. Today's webinar does not contain any live positions. All of these are hypothetical and therefore not subject to the market factors of liquidity, slippage, and commissions. I'd also like to point out that options trading is risky, as is all forms of investing and trading, and therefore you should not expose any of your capital to options trading until you fully understand those risks. Your online broker has a document which explains those risks thoroughly, so please ask for that. Read it. If you do accept those risks, you may want to consider paper trading these alerts for a while until you get a feel for how the trades flow. And when you do trade live, trade on a very small amount relative to your net worth and net income, so that as you get used to the flow of options trading and how options respond to different market conditions, you can do so on a safe amount of capital. Okay, so with that, I'd like to give you an update on our June Rhino trade. As you know, the market has been kind of, sorry, one second. I've got to get my my screen organized correctly here. If you just give me a minute, 1 second. Sorry for this confusion, folks. And let me just try to get this set up correctly so that you can see everything that I would like you to see. Now I got to pull this over. Okay, great. Very good. So as you can see, the Russell 2000 index from its low at that 960 level we talked about in our last video, that 965 level, has begun to make higher highs and higher lows. So, you know, indicative of perhaps a bullish move at this point. Obviously, the market's been very bullish over this last week. Whether that will continue, you know, is obviously a question. But nonetheless, we have rallied very, very significantly. And so today, we put on the second of the Rhino broken wing butterflies, which are located here. And as you can see, I'm just doing a one lot here in the trade column so you can see what we added today. We were able to add this at a 55-cent credit. Now, you have to understand, those of you who've been with us for a while, I think do have a good feel for this. This is really unusual to be able to add butterflies at credits. Normally, you're getting a debit. You're having to pay a debit, and therefore the position needs to take advantage of time decay in order to get profitable. Whereas in this case, all we really need is for the market to rally and continue rallying and to stay in a position that is acceptable for this particular strategy. And we will be in a position to at least now, because of the new credit we received on today's trade, now if the market keeps rallying and there is no pullback back into the butterfly, this sort of structure of two butterflies down here, if there's no pullback into there at all, at a minimum, we would make $625, which is exactly 25% of the absolute maximum you would make on a Rhino trade typically. So we are positioned well if the market stays above that level. If the market sells off back into the body of the butterfly, depending on when that happens, if it happens later in the trade, then that would actually be a very good development because then we'd be able to get that sort of lottery ticket aspect of this additional amount of credit. On the other hand, or excuse me, a profit. But if on the other hand, the market just keeps rallying, we should at least be able to capture most of this $625 credit that we've collected. So this is a little different than the typical Rhino trade, where we're talking about basically capturing the existing credit, because in the typical Rhino trade, we do not have a credit to start the trade, we have a debit. So that is the way this one is playing out. We will see how the market, continues through this very strange time that we're in. But we now are fully scaled in to our Rhino trade, and we shall see what the future holds. But I wanted everyone to understand that we had scaled in, we are fully in, that we may play this one differently because we don't really have a need to adjust upward at this point. We have a profit structure that exists, infinitely on the upside on this trade, as long as there are no further adjustments. And so we're in a position where we don't really need to make any upside adjustments. The only adjustments that at this point would seem to be necessary, this could be subject to change, of course, is if we move too quickly back into this center of this put broken wing butterfly, in which case then we may need have a little work to do, including probably pulling off and possibly even rolling this down further. So we shall see how this comes out, but I wanted everyone to understand where we are on the trade so that you can understand what these moves are about, not simply implement them. So I want to wish everyone a wonderful 3-day weekend, and we'll catch up with you during the next video, and watch out for any alerts that may come through the system in the meantime. So take care, everyone. Be safe. Do your proper social distancing, and we'll get through this as quickly as possible. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye.